Jack Doherty built his entire empire on stunts, controversy, and attention-grabbing antics, but now it seems to be collapsing almost as quickly as his McLaren crashing into a highway barrier. This is someone who once pulled in well over $1 million a year and has now ended up asking viewers for small TikTok donations, and somehow the situation only spirals further. What began as viral pranks and flashy flex content slowly turned into a case study in how to dismantle your own income streams through arrests, platform bans, and decisions so reckless that even major sponsors chose to walk away. It raises the obvious question of how he went from landing multi-million-dollar brand deals to streaming with less backing than smaller creators. To understand that shift, it helps to look at how his career started. Jack built his presence on YouTube through marker-flipping videos and public stunts that became increasingly extreme over time. At his peak, he was generating massive numbers with around 15 million subscribers and more than 6 billion total views, alongside estimated ad revenue of roughly $1.2 million per year. On top of that, he secured sponsorships with major brands like Nike, Adidas, and Pepsi, with deals reportedly ranging between $200,000 and $700,000 annually. Add in additional income from streaming on Kick, bringing in tens of thousands more each year, and he was in a position where long-term financial stability should have been guaranteed if handled responsibly. But his content always relied on pushing limits, and eventually that approach caught up with him. The turning point came around October 2024, when everything began to unravel rapidly. During a live stream on Kick, Jack was driving a $200,000 McLaren in the rain while using his phone, and it ended exactly how you would expect. He lost control of the car and completely wrecked it, marking the start of a downward spiral that would impact both his reputation and his earnings. After the crash, the situation only got worse. His cameraman was injured badly enough to need stitches, and the entire incident played out live for the internet to watch. Wrecking a car is already serious, but doing it while breaking traffic laws on a live stream made things far more damaging, as the Florida Highway Patrol cited him for using a phone while driving. Soon after, Kick permanently banned him, cutting off a major source of income. Though rumors circulated that a large payment could potentially reverse the decision, something Aden Ross allegedly mentioned as a possible path back. Just like that, his yearly earnings from streaming disappeared, and the McLaren he had spent over $200,000 on was completely destroyed. On top of the purchase price, he had invested even more into custom modifications, only for it all to be reduced to scrap in a single moment broadcast online. With clear evidence of reckless behavior captured on video, insurance was unlikely to cover the damages, leaving him to absorb the financial loss entirely. But the aftermath became even more revealing of how quickly things were unraveling. Instead of stepping back or addressing the situation carefully, he went live again and began directly asking viewers for donations. It was not framed as a thoughtful appeal or organized support effort, but rather an open request for small digital gifts during live streams, which stood in stark contrast to the luxury image he had been projecting. The reaction online was immediate, as many pointed out the contradiction between asking for money and previously showcasing wealth. Especially considering the crash had just eliminated one of his most visible status symbols, criticism intensified when people began looking into his spending habits, noting that around the same period he was reportedly paying tens of thousands of dollars each month to rent a mansion in Miami. That level of expense, adding up to hundreds of thousands annually, only amplified the perception that his financial situation was spiraling due to unsustainable choices, making the public requests for small donations seem even more out of touch with the lifestyle he had been promoting. On top of everything else, he was reportedly paying $60,000 a month for one mansion and another $10,000 for the house next door, bringing his total rent to $70,000 every single month, money that was steadily draining away. When you factor in additional costs like security, a production crew, constant travel, and the kind of lifestyle inflation that comes with building a brand around excess, his total monthly spending likely pushed well past $100,000. That level of spending is manageable when income is steady and high, but when earnings suddenly collapse, those same expenses turn into liabilities that pull everything down with them, and that is exactly what happened. By early 2026, estimates suggested that Jack Doherty was earning only a few $1,000s per month from YouTube, with January and February figures hovering around $3,000 and $2,000. That is a massive drop compared to the $10,000 to $14,000 monthly range he was seeing in early 2024, representing a decline of roughly 80% in under 2 years. His subscriber growth had also turned negative, and projections for his annual YouTube income fell dramatically from over $1 million at his peak to potentially as low as $24,000 depending on the source. At the same time, the lucrative sponsorships he once held with major brands like Nike, Adidas, and Pepsi were no longer part of the picture, removing yet another major stream of revenue and leaving a financial gap that his remaining platforms could not realistically fill. All of those sponsorships disappeared, and between October and December 2024 alone, he reportedly lost around $1.8 million in brand deals. The reason for that collapse is fairly straightforward, as each controversy he created pushed advertisers further away, since companies generally avoid associating with someone whose public image involves reckless behavior, legal trouble, and constant negative attention. From a business perspective, it made sense for brands to distance themselves from a situation that had become increasingly unpredictable and damaging. Things escalated further in November 2025, when Jack Doherty was arrested in Miami Beach after blocking traffic while filming promotional content tied to a gambling-related stream. When officers instructed him to move, he reportedly continued filming, leading to his arrest. And authorities later found substances on him that resulted in multiple charges, including a felony count. Although he was released the same day after posting bond, the legal consequences extended far beyond that initial amount. The financial impact of a case like that can be significant, as felony defense often requires extensive legal representation, with costs that can climb into tens or even hundreds of thousands, depending on how long proceedings last. At the same time, he was already dealing with a separate civil lawsuit dating back to early 2024, tied to an incident where his bodyguard allegedly assaulted someone at a party. The case claims he played a role in escalating the situation and broadcasting it online, exposing him to additional legal risks, including allegations related to assault, negligence, and emotional harm. With multiple legal battles unfolding at once, rising defense costs, and insurance complications working against him, the financial pressure continued to build. Combined with shrinking income streams and ongoing public scrutiny, the strain began to show even during his own live streams, where he openly expressed frustration about the mounting expenses. While it might seem like he would still have alternative sources of income to rely on, the reality appeared far less stable than it once was. At this point, his approach seems like a full-speed race straight toward bankruptcy and total loss of credibility. Jack has tried jumping to new platforms, but his reputation follows him everywhere. He was banned from Phoenix Open for causing a disruption, his YouTube engagement has tanked, his Twitch activity has vanished, and landing new sponsorships is virtually impossible. After all, which brand wants to be linked to someone facing felony charges and known for crashing cars on live streams? It raises the question of whether this might finally be the moment the internet has been waiting for, when Jack can no longer even afford the staff he once relied on, like his bodyguard. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.